To begin our process of writing in words, we are going to look at some examples and I want you to pay attention. So, whenever you have questions like this, there is something I like to call the zero law, which is very important in writing in words. So, anytime you have zero in front of a number, take note. Anytime you have zero in front of a number, for example, these two zeros are in front of a number, meaning zero is not counted as a number when it is in front. It is written in words as it is written in words. So if you look at this question 007, mean that this set of zero is not counted. So what is the only number we have? We have 7. So if I want to write this in words, what would this be? This would be 7. That's it in words. Now let's look at this second one too. If I want to write it in words, I just have a 0 in front. So if I remove this 0 away, what do I have? 8 and 4. What is 8 and 4? 8 and 4 is 84. 84. 84. That's what it is in words. Now, let's look at this other one too. If I remove this 0 that I have here, what do I have? 854. So if I want to write it in words, what would this be? If I want to write it in words, 854 is what? We have done this in writing in words when we're in primary 3. 854 is what? 854 is what? 854. 800 and 50 854 if I'm to write 854 in words. Now, there will be some situations whereby 0 is not beginning. It's not the first number you see. 0 is not the first number you see. Anytime you notice 0 in between two numbers, for example, if you look at this example here, we have, so anytime that you have 0 in between a number and not outside, this 0 here, it's outside, is the first number you see. In this case, you are seeing 8, then you are seeing 0, then you are seeing 4. It means when you want to write this number in words, what you are writing is you are going to count the 0 as part of it. Why? Because 0 is falling in between two numbers. It's not outside anymore. It's falling in between the two numbers. So if I want to write this in words, what would this be? 804 will be 8 800 and what would this be? 800 and 0 and 4. Remember, it is not 4 and 0. Don't make the mistake of saying it's 4 and 0. 0 and 4. It goes back to the law. When we have 0, 4, what is it? It is 4, not 804, not 840. It's not 4 and 0. 4 and 0 is 40. 0 and 4 is 4. So if I want to write this two in words, what would this be? 408, because 0 is in between. It is not outside. 408. What would this be? 400 and 8. 408. That's what it's going to be. So let us have a brief recap. The recap is this. Anytime you have C zeros in front of a number, you do not count that 0 as part of the number. You only count the number, which is 7. So 0 is found here too before 8 and 4, so you do not count it. So 8 and 4 is the number you write in words. But in any situation where you find 0 in between two numbers, for example, you have 0 in between 8 and 4, we know that between 8 and 4, 0 is counted. So you have 804, 800 and 4. Remember, don't make the mistake of 40. 0 and 4 is 4, not 4 and 0. So it is 804.